Hello, how are you doing? My name is Rachel Kahogo, and today we have a conversation about sustainable businesses. We'll be meeting Gladys, who is the Executive Director of Sustainable Business Consulting. We'll be talking about how they are able to make a business that is future fit. Come with me as we get into this particular discussion. Perfect. Now we are at SBC, as I had told you, and today we are with Gladys Kivati. She is the Executive Director of SBC, and she's going to help us understand SBC and what happens here. It's an amazing company, and we're here to help businesses scale up. All right. So if you're there as a startup, as an SME, this is the place for you. Gladys, thank you so much for having us today.
Thank you.
We are grateful, absolutely grateful. Yeah. That's your camera. Please introduce yourself, and then you can get started.
Great. Thanks for having me. My name is Gladys Kivati. I am the Executive Director, Sustainable Business Consulting. We've been in existence for the last 10 years, actually. This is our 10th year anniversary. So Sustainable Business Consulting is a sustainability consulting firm.
Okay.
What we do is we specialize in supporting enterprises, institutions, investors. We also work with international organizations trying to support them integrate sustainability in their day-to-day work. And for us, sustainability means how can you actually make money by having a positive impact. And this impact to translate to having doing no harm. That is also having social impact, creating jobs, promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion, enhancing some of the best practices when it comes to good corporate governance, but also ensuring that whatever it is you're doing with your day-to-day work does not cause harm to the environment. So we are really pro-environmental, do no harm. And we are really excited to really be in this space where we can contribute to the entrepreneurship ecosystem by building sustainable businesses. Actually, we call ourselves the firm that actually supports businesses to be future fit and sustainable. So yeah, thanks for having me to discuss this amazing topic.
Correct. Wow, I absolutely love what you do, because for most startups, it's an issue just to start up a business. You have so many questions on bookkeeping, record keeping, money, literally everything. So having someone that can really help you on that, it's a good thing. Now, Sustainable Business Consulting, you've been in existence for 10 years. That's a long time for a business. What inspired the establishment of SBC?
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting question, and it has various versions. So initially, I have been employed before. So after I finished my undergraduate, personally, I got jobs. Worked for an international organization. I also got to work with consultants. So just before I kickstarted my master's program in the UK, what I did is I was, I got to work with consultants even in the UK, but also even here in Kenya. Once I came back, I got to work with very great consultants, and I think they're the ones that really ushered me into the consulting field. And I think once, because I have my master's in sustainability science, there was this gap. Me and other directors who founded the company, we all have background in economics and sustainability. And that was way back in 2015. So then sustainability was viewed from a CSR point of view. We had just started these discussions around climate change because the Paris Agreement has just been signed in. So it was still a novel topic. And if you look at then, only the corporate organizations, say the big corporate organizations, were actually promoting sustainability. And so we realized there was this gap. How do we now bring this down to the SME level? Because for us, as I said earlier, sustainability is how can you actually run your business responsibly and thrive and survive in the long term. And for us, survival means being able to have economic impact, but also having other forms of impact. And for instance, if you look at how you maintain your staff, how you really follow what the law says, that is having a good corporate governance, paying your taxes and things like that, but also ensuring that you're cognizant of where your natural resources are coming from is very critical for a business. So realizes that business are not operating in a vacuum, and they require stakeholders, they require the environment, they require all this, the government, they require all these investors. But for them to really do this, there's this requirement, from how the consumers are, the consumers want to go to really purchase products that are ethically produced, that do not cause them harm to their body. And for SMEs to really continue supplying this market, they really have to think about their production, they really have to think about the market they're serving, they really have to think about the regulations. So SBC was set up to really support businesses. Think about these other factors that control the market dynamics beyond just, buying and selling of goods. Yes.
Okay. And I think it's very interesting that you started this business when sustainability was being viewed as a CSR, as you've said. How different would it be right now for an SME, for a sustainable SME business?
Yes, so right now sustainability is no longer an option. So it's like a strategic imperative. So if you're looking to get into, say, attracting investors, investors really want to know how many jobs are you creating. If you're an ESO, or even if you're an SME, how many jobs are you creating, and that's social impact. So definitely, it's a requirement. Even right now, if you even want to go get financing from a financial institutions, they're not just looking at your books, they're also looking at other factors. How risky is your business? If you're in the agriculture sector, climate change is something that is really affecting the climate sector. So how are businesses actually preparing their, putting in place systems, taking into consideration some of these risks that may actually affect them, say for instance in repaying a loan. So there's this demand from the external. Right now we have a lot of regulations that are requiring businesses to think about even how they produce their products. Right now we saw the recent APR bill. That is, you need to think about how you're disposing your waste as a producer. And SME can't just say, I'm going to produce, I'm going to package my honey in a plastic, and Nema is coming and asking you, have you thought about the end of life for that packaging product? So all these are considerations that have been pushed and have been enabled, say, by regulations. And also we are seeing there's this demand from consumers. Right now, when people go to purchase products, say, in a supermarket, they also look at the labeling. How safe is this product? If it's a skin product, will it harm my skin? How erosive does it have ingredients that that can actually harm? If whatever it is I'm consuming, how safe is it? People are now going towards organic products or bio products. Why is this? So the issue is, how is a business, and where we come in as SBC, is being able to support businesses to design products, to innovate, to align with this changing shifts in consumer trends, changing regulations, adapting to how the investors are looking at investing, or even just preparing their business to be investor ready, even to attract the kind of investments that are now being introduced by these new financial systems. So we are here to support businesses. We actually work a lot with ESOs because we also realized ESOs may, how most ESOs are established. They're from supporting businesses with say for instance, the business plan, the business strategy. But you're saying, can we incorporate sustainability into all this programming? And so we work a lot with ESOs. So our work not only supports SMEs directly, but we are also about supporting enterprise support organizations to run sustainability programs, to even ensure how they're governed, or even how they're structured. They're there for the long term. And it all comes with a mindset shifts, but also rethinking about what future do I want for my business? What future do I want in the entrepreneurship ecosystem? What structures and systems do I need to put in place to ensure that this future is guaranteed with all these changing dynamics that is happening within the entrepreneurship landscape?
Oh, wow. That's so wholesome. That's so wholesome, because it's all about looking into what the market looks like and what people would want in the market, which I think is really beautiful. Now, you've mentioned about working with ESOs and working with SMEs. That's a whole scale of working with so many people, and we've seen the impact that SBC has created in the last 10 years. Now, what are some of the challenges that you have faced as SBC while working with the ESOs, SMEs, startups that really don't have a roadmap of what they want their business to look like?
Yes, so I think one of the challenges is just, them understanding what sustainability means for them. It's you can, especially if it's for a business, I would say, when you tell a business, you're going to cut your costs by, by designing your product in a different way, or you need to think about your end of life for your products. And some of these things have a cost implication.
Yeah.
And when you talk about sustainability, is a long-term value creation. And even when we advise or when we come across some of this information, or even just telling an SME or even an institution, you need either to do this particular thing to ensure that your employees are comfortable, or even just to ensure that you're compliant, or even just to put up a board. All these things are tenets of corporate governance. So they see this as an additional layer. I've been doing my business, I'm doing well.
Yeah.
What has this got to do with me? Yeah. But then you see, as you're saying, the environment is changing, and it's rather than people just chasing the changing trends.
Yeah.
It's how do you actually prepare for them before they happen? And we've developed softwares and tools. So for instance, we have tools for business continuity. So for any business that would want to really understand where they are on their business continuity journey, we have softwares and tools that can help you do that. We also have tools for sustainability and ESG assessment. So we realize that maturity for businesses or even for ESOs is at different spaces. So we have softwares and tools that can be able to just determine where you are on your sustainability journey. And then we also have to assess your climate risks, or even to just assess how much carbon are you emitting. So we realized there was the gap. Most people want to either get carbon credits, or they've thought maybe it's trending, but they really don't understand what's my carbon emission. So we've designed tools. We have a software for carbon tracking, for climate risk measurement. And you're really encouraging anyone out there who really want to know where they are, because you cannot track what you don't measure. You cannot improve what you don't measure. So we've put in place those systems. And for ESOs is how do we actually equip SMEs with these skills of the 21st century? How do you ensure that they have the right capacity to be sustainable? And that's what we really call upon. We're really about collaborating with the ESOs. So we are not in, we work very closely with ESOs to already augment what they are. We have ESOs here who are experts in preparing SMEs to access finance. So we collaborate with them to say, okay, fine. Can we work with you to enable these SMEs to access green finance, gender-linked finance, or social impact-linked finance, sustainability-linked finance? So this is where we come in working with ESOs, because there's such an opportunity right now around ESG. ESG stands for environmental, social, governance, also for sustainability. And we are here to just strengthen the ecosystem and strengthen what already is existing within the ecosystem. So that's how we work. We collaborate, we strengthen. We build tools and frameworks, we build softwares just to already enhance what is existing. And the whole idea of this is to support businesses just to be future fit and to be sustainable.
Okay. That's interesting. And it's good that you're working with all of these. We have said that we've seen the impact that you've made as SBC. But how do you measure your success? How do you measure what impact that you create with SEOs?
Yeah, so for us, we as I said, we have these tools and frameworks. So for instance, in every project we do, we first of all want to understand what's the baseline. So here the baseline would be, because we're about measuring social impact. So here social impact would look at the stakeholders we're engaging in. So for instance, if in a project we're engaging the government, in a project we're engaging young women, we're engaging refugee, because all these are demographics we work with. So where are they currently when it comes to their to say inclusion as an indicator, or to talk about jobs that are being created, to talk about some of the women-related challenges. So we've been able to see, because we do a baseline before we engage in any initiative, and then we measure. So this is the journey. This is the theory of change. This is the impact pathway we want to see by the time we've engaged. So we've seen a lot of growth. I think over the years we've worked with almost 5,000 SMEs.
Wow.
We've created quite a number of jobs, like triple the amount of those that we've worked with. We've influenced policies. We've been involved in different policy discussions around climate, around job creation. We've developed tools that are currently being used by the ecosystem players to either create safe and decent jobs and also just to promote inclusion, especially for the marginalized people. This would be your refugee communities, people with disability, but also ensuring that women actually get the voice, promote agency among women entrepreneurs. So most of our projects, one or two, they ensure that some of these sustainability linked indicators exist in this particular paradigm. So what happens is we use our tools in measuring and then a baseline, and then designing that impact pathway at the end of the project, and we've been able to see this. And of course, impact can also be seen by how many initiatives you've been involved in within the entrepreneurship ecosystem space. And we've worked closely with ASEC in just trying to promote the entrepreneurship ecosystem in different arenas.
Okay, that's amazing. Now let's talk about ASEC. How has ASEC been able to just create an impact to what you do, support your vision and your mission as SBC?
So I think ASEC is doing an amazing job, and I think ASEC, we are a collaborator with ASEC. We are a partner with ASEC. We understand the vision of ASEC. Personally, I sit in the current board of ASEC as the board member for sustainable economies, and I think, even before I joined the board, I think my interest joining ASEC, or our interest as SBC joining ASEC, was how can we actually advance sustainability agenda within ASEC? And, through working with ASEC in different programs, we've been able to see some of this come to pass. You know? Because the only way you can actually create an impact within the ecosystem is implement and bringing in your expertise within the ecosystem. And so that's what we've been able to see. So we've gotten an opportunity to work directly with the ASEC Secretariat, to serve in the board, to share our tools and programs to the members. And I think this really has been instrumental, and ASEC has really created this, this engaging community, like through attending events, being able to speak in some of these events, being able to share our material, being able to engage members candidly on some of these ecosystem challenges and discuss opportunities. Because it's not just about discussing challenges, but what solutions can we as ecosystem players contribute towards the ecosystem. Also been involved in some of the policy discussions that ASEC is trying to push for. And by contributing our voice, our expertise, our knowledge, our tools, we are able to actually grow the ecosystem. And we've seen this happen through ASEC.
Perfect. Now, I'd want you to speak to the SMEs or startups that are focused on sustainability. What would be your word to them? So thank you so much for having us. It has been really great, Gladys. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. I know that you've gotten the impact that was needed from this conversation. Thank you.